Hey folks, it's Bishopheals from the ECF Forums and host of Big TV. How the hell are you guys doing today? Happy Saturday. It's a beautiful, freaking gorgeous out. Get your vaping gear and get your fucking ass off that chair and get your ass outside, man. It's freaking beautiful. Forget about it. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm waking up everybody in the neighborhood. It's freaking like 6 in the morning. Forget about it. It's just the sun is coming out. Look at that. Woo. Anyway, okay, so people have been asking me. I did ask if they wanted me to do another video on the Kraken as far as for a tight draw. Okay, some people were expecting single coils. Some people said it can't be done, Bish. It's too fucking hot. Yes, I hear you, man. I understand. That's why I asked. I said, if you'd like for me to do you a video on how you can achieve tight drawness, if you're not a lung hitting animal like this one over here, then you can do the following. Okay, so I'm going to take you step by step on how to do it, that's for sure. But before anything, here's my Kraken. Now this is the same build. I haven't really changed much from the last video. It's the same coils, just to show you. We're at 0.42 ohms, okay, 0.4 ohms. Now this, as you can see, are dual coils. Now, let me focus that for you. There we go. See, they're dual micro coils. Okay? All the way up to the top. Okay? Now, we're going to change a few things over here. Okay? First things first, I'm going to clean this out. Okay? And we're going to be putting a new mesh, new coil build. Because at 0.4, this is the thing. We all know that the Kraken has an AFC air control right on the slit here that you would actually turn, and you can adjust manually the air flow. Okay, so let me focus that. So you can actually increase it, as you can see right there. There's a see-through, so I can see slowly but surely I can actually close it out or make it so tiny that you can actually see the little dot. See that? Okay. Now the problem with that is that when you use that, and let's say you're using 0.4 ohms, you can't do it. You can't do it because the heat is tremendous. I mean, you know, at 0.4 ohms, I mean, that's really more for a lung hitting type of coil. I mean, it's just it's totally meant for lung hits. Not to say that you can't tighten up the draw a little. I mean, you can, but the problem with that is you're building so much heat at 0.4 ohms that having a big airway cools it down fast enough so it's tolerable to vape it, and number two, it doesn't destroy the taste of the juice. Now, once you start sealing that up at that temperature, it's like you're creating a pressure pot, okay, like a pressure pot. Okay, so now all that heat is going to really, you know, heat up the juices at temperatures much higher than usual, because now there's not a lot of air going to the coils. So that's why, like for instance, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to make this as a tight draw. Now what's going to happen is, just to show you, wow, it's tight. Okay. That's what happens. It's not very flavorful, and it's sometimes you can get a dry hit out of that because there's so much heat going in here, and you're not letting it escape with the leaving the air holes really open. So what we're going to do is, first we have to increase the ohms. I'm going to increase the ohms. By increasing the ohms, it reduces the temperature. So it would. I'm trying to even it out to the same temperature that I would get with the fully air control completely open. So I'm going to try to shoot for about 1 ohms, 1.2 ohms is what I'm actually going to try to shoot for, and see, you know, more or less where we're at, okay, as far as heat. If the heat is still too much, then we have to increase it a little bit, but I think maybe anywhere within that area, 1 ohms, 1.2 ohms, with a very tight draw, I think it's going to be, my personal opinion, I think it's going to be fine. Okay, but we're going to have to change the gauge of wire that we're using on here to accomplish that. And we can actually reduce the amount of wraps, or we can keep a microcoil, either or. If we're going to do a microcoil, let's say of 10 wraps or 9 wraps, then we may have to use, I would say, maybe 32 or 34 gauge wire. So we're going to play today. So with that, I'll be right back. Let's get this clean out and let's get this thing building. Forget about it. Woohoo! Okay, so we're back. So we're going to be doing the same exact thing that we did before, but as you can see, I'm going to be using 30 gauge Cantal. Okay, this is quite simple. Just wanted to show you the process that I'm going to be doing. Now, being that we're going to be switching to 30 gauge Cantal, keep in mind it's a thinner wire and more delicate. Okay. So we're still going to be using Avid's Vapors rod that I used last time on the video. So, and it's the same thing I'm going to do. I'm going to be sliding it all the way down. Let me see if I can focus that for you. There we go. So I want to keep this very close together as if it's a microcoil. Bring it down. See that? So we can gently adjust it, and we don't have to worry about destroying the mesh as we're doing this. We can just gently push it down, like so. See that? And we can manually adjust it, bringing it more down. So I'm going to keep doing this. See that? And I can apply pressure onto the rod. No worries. Now I have here a total 1, 2, 3, 4 wraps. This is the 5th wrap. This is the 6th wrap. This is the 7th wrap. This is the 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 8 wrap. Let me just stretch that just to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, hold on. 8. This will be 9. And we're going to do 10. So we got a total of 10 wraps. Okay, let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes, 10 wraps. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it onto the center post for now. Like so. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I pull out the rod, I don't want the actual wraps to be disturbed. So just to give you an idea how it looks. See that? Very nice and even. Now what I'm going to do is just turning it counterclockwise, the rod, I pull it out very gently, just like that. And as you can see, I have resistance on here because I actually squeezed the hell out of this rod as I was mounting the coils. And this is what it looks like. See that? So that's the first one. Now we have to do the same thing on the other one. Okay? So let me do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and let me get it off the mount. So I have the 2 coils already on. Let's check the ohms. Like I said, I was trying to go for close to 1.2 ohms, and bingo, 1.21. I'm pretty sure I got the 1.2 if I tighten it down a little bit, but we're at the mark where I actually wanted to do this experiment on. So now I'm gonna put in the mesh, and we'll be right back, my friends. Okay, let me just mount it back on here, and we'll be back. And the way we put this is, you don't want to push it in. You want to make sure there's resistance. You see that? There is resistance. It won't go in. So we want to turn, okay, clockwise and put it in. It's going to be giving off some resistance. That's what we want. We don't want it to be a, you know, a loose mesh at all. It has to have resistance. So I'm just keep turning this. There we go. And it's, there we go. As you can see, it's almost protruding. Now I'm trying to push it. There we go. So I can still cut some mesh off of the tip, which I will. But, well, actually I can just push it down. There we go. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so there's the first one. Okay. Now we'll do the same on the other one. Okay. Same thing, you want to screw it in. Oh, this one is a little tight, so there we go. Why is it not touching the base? Now we'll mount that on the PV. I don't know about you guys, but I am freaking hungry, man. I am starving. I know after I'm done with this build, I can't tell you, man. I am going to the diner, and I'm gonna have myself the biggest, fattest, freaking juicy steak and eggs. Forget about it. Home fries. Ooh, man. And a big 22 fucking ounce of coffee. Ooh, I'm gonna sit there with some cinnamon titties, that's for sure. Oh yeah, baby. So here we go. Let's start this thing up because I am starving. There we go. It's getting there. So now, give it a quick. Now remember, this was built for the purpose of having a tight draw, and won't lose any flavor of the juice. Okay, so we're at like 1.2 ohms right now on this build. So now we'll put the glass tank on. There we go. Okay. And the dilemma that everybody usually gets. What juice? Well, let's go with Suicide Bunny. Forget about it. Oofa. Let's suck on that tit. That mother's milk titties. Ooh, baby. Now, another thing to keep in mind is, if you want lung hits, you can also still do lung hits with this, but you're not going to get a lot of plumes compared to my previous build that I showed you. So this is more for the folks that can't do lung hits. They need a very, very tight draw, and a very tight draw that they can still get a lot of good flavor without it being burning because of due to major sub-ohms. So that's what this build is geared for. Okay? Totally. So let's add the juice. it's starting. Now, if you have a variable voltage device, this is beautiful because you can always increase the heat if you like it, okay? If you like to. But again, this is more for a tight draw, okay? And I mean tight. Let's see if I can focus that just to show you how tight we're going to set this up. Okay. So, there it is closed. There it is completely open. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to very slowly, you see the slit closing in, closing in. Now that is pretty tight. Okay. See that? It's like barely open. But I'm going to just open it up just about that much, and then we'll close it up some more just to see how she vapes. There we go. So now let's give this a go. Okay, so we're back. We're here at 1.2 ohms on my NEMI. Okay, 1.2 ohms, dual coils, micro coils, and it's very, I mean, I can close it up some more. But let's give it a shot as far as with duals, and let's see how she vapes. Now, keep in mind, you're not going to get a lot of plumes because the air holes are so tiny right now, and you get a very tight draw, like you feel like as if you're sucking out of a straw. For the people that are lung hitters, that's the best association that you're gonna feel. For the people that are not lung hitters, this is the build for them. Okay, you're getting a lot of taste. It's not burnt, it's not dry metal taste, it's very juicy. But when you drag on it, you don't force it down because of it being so stiff. You gotta do an open draw, but you gotta let it work for you. Really good. And I can actually tighten it up even more. Well, that's okay. Let's see. Wow, that is tight. You hear that? It's like that's too tight. I can't get anything out of that. Let's open up just a little bit. Now, I'm a lung hitter. Say you were going to open it all the way with this kind of build, you're not going to get a lot of heat. And there's your plumes. Like I said, if you want plumes, you got to open up the airway. However, you're not going to get any heat in this kind of build, okay, because it's 1.2 ohms. But that can be fixed because it's 1.2 ohms. You can put this on a Provari, you can put this on a Cyborg, or an Opus D, or a DNA 30, okay, and really crank it up a little more. So that's completely open. But for the people that wanted tight draws, let me bring it back down again. And now when you do this, you do get some heat. There is a little, not major, I'm not talking about boiling like sub-ohms type of temperature. It's a very good temperature. I would say equivalent to like a 901 dripper or a 306, okay? Very similar to that, of an experience, as well as drawing it in. Okay, you get good good vapor, not major plumes, because again, your airway is very, very tight. But you get great taste, juicy vape, definitely. And again, if you want more heat and you just want to play with both builds, let's say if you're a lung hitter and you just want to experiment with flavor, you can do this kind of build just to see if you like it. And if you want more heat, I'm going to give you the solution right now. Like I said before, you can mount this on the Cyborg, and pump it up. Or you can put it on the Provari and pump it up. But the Cyborg will give you more power. So let me just make sure. Yep. Okay. And I'm going to open up the airway. And I'm going to have to stick a battery in here. Okay. Putting the orbs. And like I said, it's 1 point. Let me see if I can focus that. Almost. 1.2 ohms. And we're going to be raising it to 20 watts at 1.2 ohms, which will fire at 5 point. Let me see that. 5 volts. I don't know if you can see that, but let me see if I can focus it a little better. 5 volts, okay, at 20 watts. So that's where we're going to fire this puppy at. Oofa. Great vapor. So I'm giving you the best of both worlds in one build. Very, very tight draw, okay? 1.2 ohms, great taste, forget about it. If you're gonna do that on 20 watts right now, ooh, that's gonna be like murder, I tell you. Murder, she wrote, forget about it. Now, I would say maybe bringing it down to, if you're putting on a variable voltage, like, I'm going to put this down to, say, let's start at 12 watts. Okay, and that's 3.9 volts. Great flavor. Great flavor. Okay, so hopefully that helped you out. For the people that wanted a tight coil, well, a tight draw build that is not a burning taste, and here it is. You have to increase the resistance. Okay, you need to be, I would say, you can try at 1 ohms, but I did this at 1.2, and being that I knew I was going to put in a variable voltage, you can adjust it at your will. Okay, if you need a little bit warmer, but I think it gives great flavor, very tight draw. If you close those holes pretty much all the way, you get excellent flavor, and you're not getting a burned taste because of the heat. Like at sub ohms, it's too much heat. You have to open up the airway. That's it. You got to. You know, there's no way you're gonna get flavor with closed holes with the previous build that I showed you in the video. So hopefully this was helpful for you. With that, I'll let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. So live hard, and guess what? Vape hard, baby. Forget about it.